Hello everyone. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to open and close doors, drawers, whatever you like with the unclicked event, meaning that you need to click on the mouse button in order to trigger the actions. Alright, the first thing that we need to do in order for the clicked event to work properly is to go to the open level blueprint, and on the event beginning play we're going to call the player controller, because we need to make sure that the player controller has enabled the show mouse cursor, the enable click event, and also the mouse over event. Let's do that right now. The player controller, here it is. From this we're going to pull the show mouse cursor, set show mouse cursor, going to pull the clicked event, set enable click event, and the mouse over. Okay, we're going to check box. We're going to check on the 3 boxes of the 3 sets. There you go. Now that we already did this, we're just going to close it. We don't need to make nothing else there. Now the next step is to create an actor blueprint for the drawer. Right click mouse, blueprint class, we choose actor. We're going to call this PP drawer. And in the add component we're going to look for the static mesh. I'm going to change the name to the SM drawer, and in here I'm going to look for the big drawer mesh. Compile, save. Lovely. Now we're going to the event graph of the blueprint. We're going to delete these events that appear by default. We don't need any of those. We're going to check choose the SM drawer. We're going to go down to the event and we're going to choose the unclicked. We're going to hit on the plus that we see there. Great. Okay, in order to tell this blueprint when the drawer is open or closed, we're going to create a variable, a boolean variable. I'm going to call it drawer close. We're going to check it in here, this checkbox that appears there, and we're going to compile and save. It's always good to save your work in order to avoid losing it. Get drawer closed, and from here we're going to get a branch. By default, with this variable we're telling the blueprint that the drawer is closed. So when it's closed, of course we want it to open in true, and if it's already open we want it to close in false. Lovely. So what we're going to do in here right now, we're going to create a timeline. We're going to bring the timeline here. We're going to call it open drawer. We open the timeline and we clicked on add float track. We're going to call it open time. because this will make reference to the time it takes for the drawer to open and close. We go in here, we add key to curve float, we make sure that both values are 0, and then we just randomly add another key, and we're going to change it in here. The time will be 1.5 and the value will be 1. You can put whatever value you want. Let's go to the event graph again. For now, we're connecting the branch to the play of the timeline. Later we're going to change it, but we're going to see that later on. Okay, so from here, the touch component, we're going to bring the set relative location. Okay, so we move this over here. We connect it, update to set relative location. Okay, so from here, this is the one that is going to control the movement, from which location to which location it's going to move. So we're going to do a lerp vector. Here it is. And we're going to make variables, vector variables. Promote to variable and promote to variable. We're going to call this start location. And end location. Great. And in alpha we're going to connect this float over here, because this is the time. It determines how long it will take for the drawer to move from start location to end location. Start location is going to be 0. That's okay like that. End location. We're going to go to the viewport to see how much it needs to move in order to be opened. So we're going to see here the location, and we move it. So it's 50, an approximate of 50. I'm going to put it in here, in Y, in the Y axis. The reason why I'm putting it there, even though the movement was being done in the X axis, I'm not going to go too deep into that. It has to do with the rotation of the mesh. I'm not going to go really deep into that. In your case, just do trial and error and see on which axis you need to add the information. In my case, it's Y. Okay, great. And at the end, because we have this variable drawer close, that by default it tells the blueprint that the drawer is closed, we need to set it in here, set drawer closed, and we're going to leave the checkbox like that, unchecked, because that way we're telling the blueprint that in this part the drawer is being opened. And for closing it, in the false section, we're going to connect it. We're going to change the name to close drawer. We're going to connect here. In this case, because the drawer is being closed again, we need to switch these variables, because right now point A will be end location and point B will be start location. So we make the switch really quickly. There it is. And in here we check the checkbox on the set drawer closed because we're telling the blueprint that the drawer is now closed. Okay. Now we're going to go to the viewport and we're going to add the blueprint onto the viewport, and we're going to copy paste the location that we have here and the rotation as well. We're going to delete the mesh so we can have only the blueprint here. Now we're going to hit play to check what we did. As you can see here, these doors already have the unclicked event enabled. We're going to see opens. Now we're going to close it. But when we open and close it again, we see that it does not open like at the beginning, like at the first time, and it does not close either smoothly. It's like jumps from one point to another point. The reason why that is happening, we're going to go back to our blueprint. That's because we have it on the play. The branch is connected in the timeline with on the play section, and which means that this timeline is going to play just once. What we have to do in order to have this timeline to always play, so the drawer opens realistically and smoothly, we need to connect it to play from start. So that way the timeline, each time we click the button, the timeline will run as well. We make this change here too. Now we're going to check it. We hit play. Now we can see it goes smoothly. So we open. So we see now it opens smoothly, very realistically. Now we're going to close it. Voila, perfect. Now I'm going to show you something else. Let me do a actual blueprint for this oven door. I have now created my oven door blueprint. I already added onto the viewport again. I am now in the play mode, in the simulation, so I see that I can open the drawer perfectly. Now I'm going to close it. Great. I'm going to open the oven door. Opens perfectly. And now I'm also going to close it. Great. Now there's something that I want to show you, is that when I open the drawer and I try to open the oven door, you see that it overlaps and it opens. And I want to show you a way to fix this in order to avoid this type of situation, because as we know in real life, this will not be able to happen. The oven door will not go through the drawer. So let's go to the blueprints. I'm going to go to the drawer blueprint, and in order for this to work is that the blueprint of the drawer needs to know when the oven door is open or it's closed, and the way we're going to do that is in event begin play. Okay, we're going to look for get all actors of class. Here it is, and here I'm going to look for the oven door. I'm going to choose it, and now I'm going to bring the get a copy node, and from this I'm going to create a variable. This variable will be doing a reference to the oven door, so I'm going to call it oven door. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the coding I have for the drawer to open and to close. So the logic here is the drawer, which is by default closed, if it's closed we want it to open, if it's already open we want it to close. So in here we're going to make an addition. So when the drawer is closed we want it to open, but we wanted to also check if the oven door is also open or closed. So what we're going to do here, we're going to bring this a little bit up, we're going to move this a little bit down, and we're going to bring here the oven door variable that we just created, and from this we're going to look for the door closed variable from this one. Okay, this door closed variable comes from the blueprint of the oven door, which we have it here. Okay, so we're going to bring a branch. We're going to connect the true of this branch to this branch over here. Okay, this variable, it's also by default it's telling the blueprint of the oven that the oven is closed. So if the oven door is closed we want the drawer to open, and we're going to connect it to play from start. But if the oven is open we want to get a message, a warning, which will tell us warning, oven door open. Okay, to recapitulate, the door closed, the drawer, if it's closed it's going to open, but in order to open it will first check if the oven door is also open or closed. If it's closed then the drawer will be able to open without any issues, but if the oven door is open then we will get this warning, this error message that the drawer cannot open because the oven door is already opened. And if the drawer is already open then it's going to close. We're going to check, let's go to the viewport, hit play. Oh, okay, we're going to first open the oven door, it opens. Now we're going to open the drawer, and we have the message, we cannot open the drawer because the oven is already open. So we're going to close the oven door and let's open the drawer, and we're able to open it. For now, because we have not made any change in the oven door blueprint, we can still open the oven door even though the drawer is open as well. So we're going to add the same thing that we did with the drawer. So we go to the oven door and we do exactly the same thing. We have here the event begin play already added in there. We're going to get all actors. So the same thing that we did in the drawer, we're going to do it on the oven door. I'm going to jump to the end of the additions. Okay, so I already made the changes on the oven door, and I'm going to change the color of this message to green. So we have two different colors for each message, warning message that we're going to get. We go again to the viewport, we're going to check real quick. Okay, let's try to open the oven door. We get the message that the oven door is open, and that's why we cannot open the drawer. We close the oven door, and now we're going to open the drawer, and we're going to try to open the oven door, and we get the message that we cannot open because the drawer is open. Great. we have now a more realistic opening and closing of the different message that we have in a world. I'm going to show you something real quick right now, and that is, as you can see, we have here these three drawers are the same actor blueprint that we created. So technically, if we open any of these drawers, then we should not be able to also open the open door. But let's see. We see that we can open the open door even though this drawer is opened. But if we open the first one, the first that we added, and we try to open the open door, we see that it is working. So what is going on? The reason why this is not working, we're going to exit the play version, is that we have three different types of the same actor blueprint. But in here, in the open door blueprint, we are only referencing the first one. So we also need to make more variables to reference the other two actor blueprints that we have here, which is it's the same thing. So what we're going to do is to make reference to the other two drawers that we have here on the viewport. We're going to look for a get copy. We see here that we have 0 in here, which means that we're making reference to the first one. So in here we're going to change it to number 1 to make reference to the second one, and we're going to get another get a copy, and we're going to put 2 in here to make reference to the third one. In Unreal Engine, because this is a tutorial technically for beginners, the indexes start with 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So that's why we have 0 for the first one, 1 for the second one, and 2 for the third one. We're going to promote to variable in here and also promote to variable in here. I'm going to make a substitution. We're going to change the names. Drawer 02 and drawer 03. Okay, we're going to bring this over here. We're also going to add them, connect them here. Okay, and what we're going to do is bring the other variables here, as in get variable, and we're going to look for the drawer closed variables as well. Drawer closed. Okay, now we're going to move this a little bit over here, and in here we're going to bring a and boolean. So we connect the 3 variables to this and boolean. I'm going to delete this pin, and we're going to connect the and boolean to the branch, and that's it. That's the only change that you have to make. Now we're going to go to the viewport to check it, to see that it's working properly. We're going to open the third drawer, and we're going to try to open the oven, and voila, we are now getting the message. Okay, well, that's it. This is the end of the tutorial. I hope that you find it useful, and if you do, please don't forget to hit a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, more tutorials, or more of my products as well. And if you want to see another tutorial of something, let me know, and I will try to post it as quickly as possible. Thank you. If you are interested in buying this environment, you can see the links on the video in the description below in order to acquire this small kitchen. It already has actual blueprints that control the light. You are also able to open doors and close them as well with the click of the mouse, and it also has the restriction of when a drawer is being opened, a door or another drawer that is closed cannot open as well due to collision, as you can see here on this open door. You can also open and close the windows and close the doors of the kitchen.